Hello, everybody. This is Paola Guthrie from Creating Purpose with Pao, and I welcome you to the Spanglish World Network and H.E.R Network on Zingo TV channels 250 and 251. Please remember to download Zingo TV app on the respective app stores. When you download it, please rate it and leave a message. The app is totally free. You can find it in Google Chromecast and Amazon Fire TV Stick, Roku Stick, and all smart TVs from 2016 and forward. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today, because today we have a special guest in the house. We have Gina Iovino. She is a nutrition and brain health specialist, and I welcome you to the house. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much for having me and allowing me to speak to your audience.
No. Anytime. I mean, I know our schedule has been crazy, so it's just finally now we have the time to have this, have this beautiful conversation. So I'm very grateful for you, because you're here with us today. Share, how can you, or what is your philosophy, on nutrition and on the impact that has in our health and our well-being?
Yes, I love that question. And my philosophy is that food equals communication. Okay. So if you want to live a vibrant, long, healthy, energetic life, right, you're going to choose those foods that are going to communicate that success to your body. If you want to continue, like, let's say, eating things like, I know we love like cookies and cakes and pies and those type of things, then what's going to unfortunately happen, you're going to communicate disease. And you're not going to get that energy and that longevity that you're looking for. So
that is very neat, like seeing as like a way of communication, because I've never thought of it that way.
yeah, I always like to give my clients the example of, like, say you have two people that have the same exact car. One person takes it in for the oil change, it cleans the car out, doesn't drive it real fast, always puts gas in it. And then you have another person with the same exact car that runs it down to the very end till there's almost no gas in it, never changes the oil, doesn't do the tune-ups. And if you look at over a lifespan of that car, which one do you think is going to last longer?
Yeah.
The one that the person took care of, right? So it's the same thing with our bodies. If we want to go that distance, then we got to choose the food that's going to give us the distance.
Okay. Wow. I wrote it down. Food equals communication. So that's awesome. How do you prioritize, though, a healthy lifestyle?
Honestly, it comes down to meal prepping. I've tried so many other things in the past. I've used many other methods with my clients, but the real true thing that I've seen that works over and over again, and I know because I use it in my home, and that is meal prepping. It's just making sure that you have what you need in the house. You have it laid out for what you're going to have for the week. And so that way you're not, last minute grabbing something to go or stopping somewhere to grab a snack. You're always prepared. And then it just makes those choices even easier.
And you prep for the whole family?
Yes. I have 5 kids. I'm married. I have a husband. So there's 7 of us.
That's amazing.
So yeah, so there's a lot of food, but I talk to people how you can kind of also use meal prepping in a way that's not only going to be economical, but in ways too, so that you're not coming up with like creating meals every single day. So I do have a system of showing people to make it a lot easier.
Wow, that's fascinating. That's why I asked. 'Cause I know you have kids, you have a family, so it's doable. That's what you're telling us. It is doable.
It is 100% doable. And when you do it too, if you take the time and you just implement small steps and keep building upon that, it will be like second nature, and you'll be like, why didn't I do this before? You'll feel like, like you were missing out.
So, what strategies do you, employ to maintain a positive mindset towards healthy eating and exercise?
Yeah, one thing that I learned a while ago when I was starting business, I was watching Mel Robbins. And for those of you who know her, she is also a motivational speaker. And one of the things that she said is you got to have like your core 5. And that's something that I use myself. I also teach this to my clients. You got to have your core 5, somebody that you can call when you're feeling down, right? That can lift you up, somebody else that you can call that maybe you need advice from, maybe somebody else that's going to push you when you don't feel like to be pushed, or someone just to listen to you when you just need a vent. And then if you can't fill up that core 5, what I love is that we have a plethora of information. We have your amazing program that people can tune into to get what they need as far as their mindset. You can get on YouTube. There's so many motivational speakers, and you can use them as your core 5. I always say to people sometimes too, I'm not perfect. Sometimes I don't feel like working out. And when that happens to me, all right, I know I need to turn to something in my core 5. So sometimes one of my core 5s is, I don't know if you know who he is, but his name is David Goggins. He tells things like it is, right? So if I feel like not going down to work out, I'll put in something from him. I'll listen to it, and then that shifts my mindset, and then I'm ready to go. So having that core is going to really help you stay on task for your lifestyle.
That's awesome. I've never, I mean, I like Mel Robbins, never heard of her core 5. It makes sense. It's part of your system too.
Yeah.
Like prepping, same, kind of like, okay, who do I call in case of I'm not feeling like working out, or I'm not feeling like eating healthy or doing those healthy habits. So
Yeah, because we're all going to have those days, and nobody's perfect. There's no such thing as perfect. It's just it's a process, right?
it is a process. And sometimes you fell off the wagon. Like I felt like since I came back from Mexico, which that was back in August. I still haven't, I haven't been back to my healthy routine with those healthy habits.
Yeah.
I'm still trying, to get back and see what's working with this new schedule. So yeah, it's like we have to find a way. So far as like I'm still, I'm still searching for those healthy habits that I was used to. But I have a new schedule, and I'm about to turn 40. And I begin
look great.
thanks. I begin
You
to
do.
think like, thank you. I begin to think, okay, who am I going to be in my 40s? Like, how Dr. Amen talks about you have to eat healthy to keep the resort, just in case something happens, in case you go through stress, then your
Yeah.
body, has a big resort of like healthy vitamins.
Reserve. Yes, he talks about
Yeah,
that. Yes, mental reserve.
yeah. So that's what I'm thinking is like how much am I going to give my new version of myself on my 40s, starting a new decade. So I'm preparing like mentally, getting the mindset ready. And I know it's not functioning yet. I'm not playing it yet. So anybody out there that is with me, I'm on the same track, trying to get back. And I know it's possible. So I appreciate you encouraging us today.
Yeah.
Taking notes. How do you encourage your kids to eat healthy?
I get them involved. And that's the best way. And I tell you, when you get them involved too, it's a great way. I think because we are surrounded by so much technology,
Mhm.
even though we're all in the same home, technology kind of separates us, right? Kids will be off doing their thing. They're on their iPad. I've got teens. They just want to be in their room. But meal prepping and spending time around, the kitchen is a chance for all of us to put those things away, to come into the kitchen. There are things that you can use even for kids that are smaller. There's knives that you can buy on Amazon where kids can cut and they can't hurt themselves. But I say bring everybody in. When it's time to meal prep, give everybody a job, put on the music or put on a favorite movie. Everybody get talking and enjoying it. And you know what? When the kids do, I will say, when they are involved, and then I put something on the table and say, this came from what you chopped, they're more likely to try it.
Okay.
And then I also get suggestions from them too. And allow them to go on Pinterest and, pull things out that's interesting to them too as well.
Wow. Do you schedule it? Do they know like Saturday night or Sunday night is prepping
Yes.
time?
Sunday's usually our day when we don't have as many sports going on, and, we're all getting ready to go back into school the next week and work. So Sunday's usually our family time to come together.
That is beautiful.
Yeah.
I can only picture them, like getting them, mine are at that age, especially the two younger ones, that they would be involved in the kitchen. So
Yeah. And we should love food. I mean, that's another part of my philosophy is we should love food. God gave us this beautiful palate to taste things. So we shouldn't be thinking that to be healthy, that things have to taste sad. You can make food taste so delicious and, be a part of that experience.
Okay. Yeah, I think of
Yeah.
I think of the book of Daniel. Whenever he would eat healthy, and they would offer him all the tasty, good food, and he's like, "No, I'll just stick with my vegetables and fruits." Oh, so can you provide an example of how you help, someone shift their mindset towards adopting healthy habits in their life?
Yeah. So one of the things that I love because I'm also a neuroencoding coach. And so one of the things that I always love to do is asking them first exactly what it is that they want. And after they explain to me what it is that they want, I also want them to describe how that they're going to feel when they get where they want with their health. Because what that's going to do is what we've learned from Joseph McClendon is that, what, we might be able to teach somebody something, they might listen to us. But if they say it themselves and they feel it and they believe it, then they're more likely and more successful to carry through.
Wow. Do you see that working with your clients, like whenever they tell you what they want and how they see themselves achieving it?
Yes, because and another reason why I wanted to be a part of neuroencoding is because I know that it's not just about food. Because if it was, people wouldn't have an issue, right? They would know what to do. There's tons of stuff that you can research online. There's so much information for you out there, but the missing piece is that mindset piece. And so, a big part of why I coach is really being able to ask people questions to learn their behaviors, their lifestyles, how they feel around food, and then being able to help them, through this process of changing that old way and then shifting into the new lifestyle with a new mindset as well.
So when someone, walks into your office and says, "I've tried it all," what do
Yeah.
you, what do you, what do you say?
Yes, what I do with those people is I reassure them because a lot of them too. I will have a lot of women that once it comes out of their mouth, they actually break down. It's a very emotional thing for them. I can feel their pain. I know, that they have been trying, that it's very hard. And so, what I like to do is, I'm a science based person. If I can see science and facts, that's where I love to go. And so, what I'll usually do is, I will have my clients do a certain amount of tests. One of them is a gut test, because what we know is when we get those tests back, numbers don't lie and they tell us exactly what it is that we need. Just like Dr. Daniel Amen says, if we don't look at the brain, how do we know? The same thing is for our gut. If I can't look in there, I honestly don't really know the better path to lead you to help you. So once they get those numbers back, I have a lot of relief from women because they think, oh, I wasn't motivated enough. I must have not had the mindset enough. Maybe I didn't love myself enough. Maybe I should have worked out more. Maybe I should have ate less, because there's all this, I would say, like, misinformation out there about health and wellness. And so being able to see those numbers kind of gives them like a sigh of relief to be able to step back and say, it wasn't all my fault. It was actually my biology. And so then we can look at those numbers and then we can set goals based on what their specific body is telling them.
Now that you say it's not my biology, did you implement, because I know you do bring health, so do you bring that biology? Do you bring that psychology? Do
I
you
do.
bring their social life and their spiritual life as well?
Yes. And I love using that. That's the 4 circles approach,
Mhm.
where it's biology, physiology, spiritual, and relationships, which are social. And I like to use that too because there's sometimes that women will be doing so great. They're on a great path. They're doing what I tell them. And then I'll see them and I can read their body language. They're not as happy. Something's going on. So what we do is we do an audit, okay, an emotional audit. And I just go with them. I say, okay, right now, biologically, let's talk about your nutrition. I ask them questions, and then they rate 1 through 10 on that. Then we do the next thing, which is physical. Are you moving? We rate that. Then I move into spiritual. Are you taking care of yourself? Are you doing things that are giving you enjoyment outside of the home. We rate that, and then we move into relationships and do the same thing. And sometimes what we find is if one thing is really low, it will push other things to fall behind, right? So what we'll do is we'll take a step back. We'll address that issue for that week and not put so much pressure on the nutrition, but we'll just focus on that. And then that way they can get back into balance to go ahead and keep going.
Do you agree with like consistency and discipline?
Oh yes, I'm a person that truly believes in what we're told in neurocoding is that rehearsal over and over is the best practice and the best way that you're gonna be better at something. So yes, a lot of what we do when we implement are things that you do over and over again, and then you rinse and repeat, and you do it again over and over again. Because we want this to feel like a lifestyle, just like when you get up and you brush your teeth, you get ready for work, right? It feels so natural that this should feel natural, and it shouldn't feel like it's making you stressed out or, sad, overwhelmed. So it's just easing that in.
Yes. And what do you want, right? That's like the basic question. What do you want in your health area? Like, what do you really want, and what are you willing to do?
Yep.
Yeah. What does it look like to you?
Yeah.
What does it look like to you, Gina, the next 5 years?
Oh, for me, the next 5 years is just continue to keep growing with this business. I love learning. So every time something else comes out, I'm just so excited to learn something more about the gut and the brain. My kids are going to be, I'm going to have 2 of them that will be unfortunately leaving the house. So that's going to be a new chapter in my life. Which I am not ready for, but it's life. It is what it is, right? So I'm also kind of in that phase where I'm teaching my daughters how to be women, and so that they can take care of their health and take care of themselves when they move out. So,
wow, what are they going to do whenever they move out? Do they know?
they kind of know. We're kind of in the experimental phase where I just told them that we're going to start like just writing down anything that seems fun and interesting. I even told them, my daughter loves this thing, and she might be okay with me telling you this, but I even told her, I said, if you don't want to go to college, that's fine. If you want to just go right to Disney, and be a part of the performing there because that is giving you passion, well, then let's think about it. Let's talk about it. Let's go do it. So nothing is off the table.
Look at you. I'm proud of you. I'll be there next year probably.
Yeah.
Coaching my oldest.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
Yeah.
beautiful. So what role do you believe mindset plays in achieving a good lifestyle? Speaking on our health and exercising.
If it plays, I would say, 100% of it, right? Because every single day we are basically, every thought is, actually every reaction is from a thought that we do all day long. All the choices we make are based off of those thoughts. So it's really up to us to just make sure that we're in those times giving ourselves grace, but then also at those other times being able to stop ourselves and redirect ourselves into the right directions.
Yeah. So today we want to invite our audience to know that we believe in you. That it just one thought. Like, oh, I can do this.
Yes.
It is possible. Yes. It is possible. I see it with my students that are getting their GED diploma. They're already adults, and sometimes they don't believe in themselves, but it's like with the encouragement, and then they take a few steps and then they see, oh, I did that. It's like, yeah, you did that. It's like, you can do it. It is possible. It is possible. Just believe, that it is possible.
And I love that you said that with the one more thought, because it brought me up a book that I had just recently read, which was by Ed Milet, The Power of like One More. And he talks about in his book, we're always one decision away, one thought away, one chance, one push of fear away from whatever our journey is going to be. And there was one part in the book that I always like to use because it just really kind of got to my heart is he gave the analogy of like a piñata, right? we just don't swing at the piñata once and expect all the candy to come out, right? We got to take a couple jabs at it. We got to swing it. Sometimes we just give it a little swing. Sometimes we miss. Sometimes we're not always there. But finally, when we get that one perfect crack, right, and the whole thing explodes open, the candy goes everywhere, right, and we've made it. It's, the success is there. So I just have that also philosophy with life. Just you got to keep chipping away at it, and one day you're gonna get your candy.
Yes, yes, yes. And it starts with that believe in yourself that it is possible, that you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
That consistency, the discipline will take you there. So, yes, definitely. How do you address common mindset challenges? Like, let's just say somebody walks in and it's like, there is no belief in there. There's like that you could help them. How do you approach that?
Yeah, and I mean, unfortunately, too, in the coaching world, there are some times that there are some clients that you just can't help, because maybe they are going through something else that's a little bit deeper, that's out of, like, I would say, your specialty, and where you can give suggestions for them to go get that kind of help. And then when they're ready, that they can come back to you. So, really for me, though, I haven't had that happen yet, because a lot of the times the women that do come to me, they're already so ready because they have tried everything. They're very frustrated. So a lot of them, they're coming to me, they're really looking for the answers.
Yeah.
And they kind of have their white flag, and they're ready to go and listen. So I don't get that as much, but that's all part of it too, is when people come in and they fill out a form, so I can know a little bit about their background. That's just kind of in the evaluation process too, just to make sure that we're a good fit.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And maybe some people might not be ready, right? They might not have that thought that it is possible, that they could just tilt the picture just a little bit and see what is truly possible in their life.
Yeah.
Because as a mom, I mean, I remember having my third child and thinking, oh my gosh, there's no way I can go back. I mean, I remember being stuck in that mindset.
Oh yeah.
3 kids, adjusting to 3 kids in the new routine, and the least I had time for it was to take care of myself with my nutrition and my health. So I was overweight. I kept the baby weight, and that's how I call it. It's baby weight, and it just came common and normal until it's like, no, it's like, this is not me. And it took probably 9 months or a year after my last child. So yeah, sometimes we're just on survival mode until we change that mindset to see what it's possible.
Yeah, because what do they say, right? Sometimes we have to hit our rock bottom before we're ready to have somebody pull us out of the hole, so.
Yes. So how do you stay motivated, inspired to help other women, achieve their goal to maintain their a healthy lifestyle?
Well, one thing for me is I'm always continually learning, because that keeps that fuel, that passion going. I also do volunteer work, because I'm niching a little bit more towards first responders and military. I do, volunteer for an organization called Project Refit, where we are helping first responders and military, especially bridging that gap, and that negative stigma that's around mental illness, and trying to break that pattern for them. Too, and we're really, the mission is to combat isolation, either on and offline too. So doing things that motivate me and inspire me, things that I love to do, also keep me going. That's like the fuel for me to continue to help people, because I'm constantly making sure that I'm checking my 4 circles, right? I'm also giving that assessment to myself when I need it, and saying, where am I not filled up? Where am I? And I will tell you too, you have to have communication with the people that are in your family and that are around you, your loved ones. My husband and I sit down every so often, and it's like, it's time for a checkup, like, I need to communicate with you, let's sit down, let's have that conversation where we're really listening to each other, because I can feel like I'm unbalanced,
That's beautiful. Yeah. And we all need that. We all need that. Yeah, it's funny because I was telling my husband that, as I was telling you today, that I'm not where I want to be. in my biology, right? I was like, I just haven't got that routine. I said, and I know why, I said, I've been working on this new project, and I said, and it's going well, but I'm putting so much energy on that project. And I said, which benefits both of us and the family. I said, and that's why. I said, but I need to see what can work so that I can get back into that biology, because it's we like you're saying, it's a communication. I need to tell my body, like, to working out and eating salads and healthy. It's a way where I can have more energy and do more, versus just deteriorating my body. Yeah, and it's beautiful communicating with your family. Is where you at, checking those four circles: your biology, your psychology, your spiritual life. Or like going to church and teaching Sunday school is like, that's how I kind of nurture my spiritual life. How do you nurture your spiritual life?
You know what? I do a lot of journaling. And write down every and anything that comes to my mind of any possibility that I want to do, I want to see, I want to achieve. Nothing is off limits. And then just sitting down as a family and taking an assessment of that, and just be willing to go ahead and do that. And I always have that piñata, like I said, in the back of my mind all the time. That keeps me motivated too as well. So
how could we give our audience an example of to build our relationships or connection with other people? What, like from me, I could say that my children at school, with my students, try to connect and see, how was your weekend? What are you planning for fall break?
yes.
Building those relationships. My mom. What about you?
Yeah, I think one of the great tools is, and I have, especially with working with first responders, sometimes it's very hard for them to speak to their spouse,
Oh.
and have that face-to-face conversation can be hard. So I usually have them do is like, just say, hey, have fun, choose a topic with your spouse, and take a few minutes and you just write on a piece of paper. You have so much time, say what you need to say, and then with no judgment, because this is supposed to be, when you guys are together, it's supposed to be a safe space. So then that way you switch papers, you give the other person a chance to read, and then it's just acknowledging what you're perceiving from reading from the other person.
Wow.
And you can even do this with your kids, because there's sometimes I'm gonna tell you, I have a teenage boy. My God, and it's like, I think it's worse than having a teenage girl, because he, sometimes he's too cool for his mom, and doesn't like to talk. So it's kind of a nice way to when you can slip a little notes and little stuff in like that to get people to kind of have a conversation with you and communicate in a way and put it on paper without having to have that face to face conversation.
Yeah, that's beautiful, because first responders, they get to see things we don't see. So getting to digest what happened, through those work hours could be challenging, and not wanting to share because they're still probably just processing what just happened. So I guess, and journaling is just such a blessing to get things out.
Yeah, get it out. Don't hold it in. Get it out. Join a community of other people that are doing things that you like, or join a community. I know a friend of mine actually who lost somebody. So she's in a group of other people that have lost somebody, so.
Yeah, and we have our friend Eric. Hello, Eric. Thank you for being here. He says, stress enters my day, I find myself emotionally eating for comfort. Me too, Eric. I do eat for comfort. What are the tips to do in those times, or what to eat? What a great question.
Yeah. Yes, I love this, because this is one of the things that, again, that I do with my clients is I teach them at home how to give themselves their own 4 circles approach audit. So if you're going to want to go run, okay, first what we do is we stop, we think of that 4 circles approach, and we think, okay, right now, biologically, how am I feeling? Maybe at lunchtime I didn't eat enough. I didn't fuel myself enough to carry me through the day. Is that the problem? Did I exercise yet today? Maybe I need to move my body. Did I not drink water? Maybe I need to hydrate. And am I stressed? Am I tired? Because all of those emotions can come out as you wanting to eat something when really you don't. It's actually something else that's trying, but it's your body's way of trying to communicate with you. So taking a step back, doing a little, audit on yourself. I often tell people, you know what, step out of that area too. Grab like a sparkling water, go somewhere else, put your phone down, go in a place, go even outside, go sit and go through that audit. And sometimes what happens too, just 15, 20 minutes of doing that actually calms them down.
Okay.
And then they're like, you know what, I really didn't need that. And actually, you know what, now I feel good. I do want to go get that workout done. So that's what I would say. And if it comes down to it and you're like, no, I still really want it, then I work with my clients and I make sure that they have a list of healthy things that they can have at a reach notice inside of their house, quick, easy grab. You make cookies, mug pie, mug cakes, shakes. So if you do want to have something, at least then you know that you have the stuff there, the right stuff, so you can go ahead and indulge in your temptations and have something.
Yes. We have to learn to interrupt our patterns, right?
Yes. Yep.
Eric, call me and then I'll call you whenever we get into that,
Yeah.
that we want to eat just out of comfort.
Right. That's your core 5. Yeah. So maybe you have somebody you call and you're like, I'm going to go for it. And then you can call your bestie. She can be like, don't you dare. Right.
Yes. Yeah. We're prepping, right? It's like in case of what can I do? Because
yes,
we adopting that lifestyle, that healthy lifestyle that's gonna really like give us the opportunity to give more to those that we love. Because when I feel great, then I'm more present as mom, I'm more present in my profession, I'm more present with with my husband and anyone I interact. So yeah, we're investing in our health. So, and it's doable, it is possible.
It is so doable. It's so doable. Yes.
Oh yeah. So can you share some of your favorite resources or tools for promoting a positive mindset towards nutrition and healthy livings? I know you share your 5 course. Do you have any other one that you share with your people?
Yes, I do. I actually have this, and we are doing this right now. I'm going to be doing a 6-week training, and we're going to be doing Stay Festive and Stay Fit. It's going to be a 6-week training that we're going to be doing. But in there, we're going to be tackling this. This is, from Dr. Daniel Amen, 300, not 65, but 366 days to a better brain. And I love this book because inside it has bite-sized like implementation that you can read and that you can do in here each and every day. It's a very short verse. You read it, you take it in, and then he tells you how to implement it throughout your day. Or some of them too. Some of them you have to journal on the bottom. And where's the journaling one? Yeah, like here you have to actually sit at the very end and you have to journal your thoughts down there. So I love this because this is going to help you stay focused, keep that mindset going, bring some positivity into your life. Great stuff in here. And this is even a good conversation starter. Even if you want to, later around the kitchen table, bringing everyone to the table and just read from this page and get everybody's, opinion.
Fancy.
It's a great way to connect and see how like your family members feel too. So this is really great. And you can take this with you anywhere. Love that one. Yes, Change Your Brain Every Day from Dr. Daniel Amen.
Okay. I don't have a book, Change Your Brain Every Day.
I love it. There's so much great content in here. Another thing too that I love for like first responders, especially because, there's times that they're in a stage of fight or flight, or they just might have had a hectic traumatic situation. So they need a resource right then and there. And sometimes when you are that much in fight or flight, you don't have the mental capacity to calm yourself down. So there is an app that I like to use. It's called Reverie. It's REVERI. And I love science. And the reason why I love this one is backed by 45 years of science-backed information. And there are a few categories in there, but the 3 that I like to gear my clients to is how to deal with stress, sleep, and loss. So that way, if they go to a scene and they're like, I just experienced loss, I need some tools and training right now, they can go to that app and that app walks them through it.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And it gives them, and box breathing. I mean, just so many great tools in there that they can have at their fingertips. So they don't even have to think about what they need to do.
Well, what is the results that you've seen like through their life transformation now that they're working with you, or you're providing these tools to them? Have they shared?
Oh, yes. Yeah. People share all the time. People are so much more happier. We also do a thing too, like when we actually talk about like weight, we throw the whole scale system away because I walk women through and explain to them actually what weight is. So they feel better about like getting on the scale because they know that there's other numbers that make up that weight, you know. So just yeah, teaching them about their body, about their muscles, you know, and just eating healthier, you know, all around. Um, but yeah, a happy success. I still have friendships with a lot of the women that I've coached before, and it's still good to see them. Or ones actually, I just saw a lady that I haven't seen in a while because ironically, both of our kids were at a birthday party together, and I saw her, and she just looks fabulous. So she's keep going, and it's so good to see that, you know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Very rewarding. Yeah.
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 Yeah, and my philosophy is too is that this is a lifestyle. So everything I teach you isn't something like if you want a diet, that's fine. And if you want a quick diet, that's great. You can go and search for that, Google search to get yourself a quick diet. But I'm all about lifestyle changes. So this is something that you're going to do. It's a rinse, repeat lifestyle so that you continuously do it. You don't ever think that there's another thing that you have to do. And so that's why, you know, I think my women love my program is because we say goodbye to dieting.
Yeah.
And now it's about a lifestyle. And then also too, with getting that, you know, the gut history too, they know specifically what they need to do for themselves
Wow.
individually.
So, can you invite our audience? Can anybody in our audience join your program if they feel like it?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, during the holidays, we know people are busy. I have a great program that I'll be doing. I have a friend of mine that's going to be co-coaching with me. Her name is Lori. She's fantastic. She's also in the health and wellness space too. And we're going to be holding your hand with 6 weeks. And another thing that I love about what we do is that we just don't have you read something and then say, see you next week. We are actually there teaching and coaching you because I want you to learn this stuff and understand why it is so important so that way you'll want to keep doing it. Okay, I just don't want to say don't eat sugar. I want to explain to you why you shouldn't eat sugar or why this is a better choice for you. So that way when you're in the store making those decisions, you'll remember, oh my God, Gina told me that. That's why, right?
Yes. Where can they find you?
Yeah, they can find me. The best way is on Instagram, which is at Gina Will Show You, and all of my programs and what I have to offer is listed there. I'm on Facebook as well as LinkedIn with Gina Iovino. Or you can find me at Health and Mindset Revolution.
Okay. Uh, so at Gina will show you is an Instagram, and then you can
Yeah.
share the other one with me, and I'll put it on Facebook description
Okay.
for anyone
Okay.
that would love to join that program. Yeah, because the holidays are gonna be here before we know it, and that's what I'm working on. You know, shifting my mindset towards uh, being healthier.
Yeah, yeah, you can still be fun, be festive. You can still eat all of those wonderful things that you want to eat. It's just shifting to better ingredients and, you know, not waiting till the end when New Year's comes and then you've got that guilt, you know, sitting there and then you feel terrible. We don't want that, right?
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah. No, no, no. Because then we know, you and I know that those goals at the beginning of the year fade away if we don't really take action. Like by the end of February, we already forgotten. You know, if we had a traditional mindset, is like we forget. You know, the first few goals that we had at the beginning of the year. But now that we've trained through neuroencoding, brain health, we know better that it can be at any time as long as we take action. You know, like have that thought is like it is possible, and I'm
Yeah.
capable. And
And reason why most of those fail too is because people really don't understand what it is that they want.
yeah.
You know, they start themselves on false pretenses of what they think they want. And then it you know, fades away too. So,
Yes. Do you have a story of any client you have had that it went from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset through your journey?
oh yes, yes. You know what? When I think the biggest piece is when we learn the body composition, and then yeah, and women's relationship with the scale changes. That's the biggest thing because then I have women that'll get on the scale and they actually get excited to get on the scale. because the numbers that we're actually looking at and the numbers that we want to see increase will be increasing. The other numbers that we want to go down are going down. So there's like a system there. So yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, awesome. So through your
Yeah.
teaching, then good.
Yes,
More and
yes.
more. Okay. How do you educate? How do you empower, encourage individuals to take ownership, of their nutritional choices? Because we used to blame probably, like sometimes we get into that mindset where it's like, it's not my fault, my wife or my husband does the grocery shopping
Yeah.
and I have to eat what's in the house. So how do you guide them to, to have that ownership where it's like, okay, it's my responsibility. It's I have control of what I eat, what I cook. So
Yeah, I guess a really good example too of this is I did work with a woman, and she was kind of one of those where like, oh, I know, or I do that. I'm already doing that. It was kind of like things were okay, but she was butting heads with me. And I ended up doing an exercise with her where she closed her eyes, and I had her do an envision experiment. So I had her tell me where she was at that moment. I wanted her to describe to me what she was seeing, how she was feeling, of what she wanted for herself from what she told me in the very beginning. I wanted her to envision that. And then I placed her into the future. What do her kids look like? What does she look like? What is she feeling? What are the people around her? And you always see people, and it gets me a little emotional because you see the physiology in them change, even though their eyes are closed. You see that emotion that comes out of them because they're seeing it. And sometimes having that connection to actually what they want and how they want to feel then changes that mindset that says, you know what, you're right. If I keep going down this path, I'm not going to get there, right? To where I want in the end. So I like to use that, on some of those people that are just maybe a little hesitant, or you know, um, to kind of push through to make them actually see for themselves what is possible.
beautiful. Yes, yes, because we've been there. I know I've been there. I've been,
Yeah,
stuck on my own way, thinking, oh,
yeah,
it's just this way and there is no hope. But if we begin to tilt the picture a little bit, then we see the other side, or we see the different
yeah.
angle of the picture, and we can begin to believe in ourselves and see that it is possible. Uh,
Yeah, and then sometimes too, we have to, you have to ask quality questions, and you kind of have to play detective a little bit. And I think that's another reason why I love this job, because you really have to ask specific questions to get to the root of why they're not doing it. Why is that wall up? And then being able to have them extract that and have them get that out too as well. So
have you seen some, like I know coaching sometimes the client thinks the problem is this, but in reality, it was probably a wound or a trauma from the past. Have you
oh
seen those
yes,
connections with food?
yes, yes. I had another woman too. Again, we're meeting. Everything seemed great, and then I saw her, and I could just tell in her face. And she, broke down a little bit, and she ended up having to take in her mother. She finally was retired. She was starting to live her life. She was getting her health on track and all of this, and then she had to take in her mother who had Alzheimer's. And then she just felt the weight of the stress and everything like that too. So then we had to kind of repivot, right? And restructure her whole life again, so that way she could still get what she wanted, but still now having this, other obligation, yeah, instead of looking at it as a roadblock,
Mhm.
to her success, as just a pivot in the road on the path.
Wow. Do you have like a cookbook? Do you guys offer like, do you go gluten free? Do you keto? Like, what do you recommend to your?
I do, yeah, I do. I do have different meal plans for those people that want a meal plan. I always tell people too, the best resource that's absolutely free is you can go to your library too, if you want to experiment. Go to your library, and sometimes I even have my clients do that just to see what they actually like. Because some people, when I'm asking them, well, what foods do you like? What do you eat? Some of it's very limited, so sometimes I'll even send them there as an assignment just so they can start getting creative. And yeah, go use your library. There's so many wonderful, amazing resources there. There is another woman that I love to use. Her name is Lisa. I have no affiliation to her. The website is called Downshiftology. You also can find her on YouTube. She has fabulous recipes that are super delicious. She has everything from like paleo to keto, vegan, Whole30, however you want to go, you can plug it in there, and she has tons and tons of recipes that are delicious for you in there.
Do you like Tanya Amen, Dr. Amen's wife?
Yes. I do have one of their cookbooks. Yep. Yeah, it's great stuff. It's all good stuff.
Yeah. So what about when somebody tells you it's too expensive to eat healthy?
Well, when someone tells me it's too expensive, then we go do a kitchen audit. We go in there and I have them pull everything out of their kitchen, because sometimes people don't realize that they have a lot of money sitting in their cabinet when it comes to food. So when they say that, I say, okay, let's pull it out and let's be creative now. Like, let's look and see what you have. And there's a lot of times that people don't even realize they can put together like 10, 15 meals just from what they have in their cabinet. So that kind of stays in there. Or they can take a look and say, oh my God, I've got this. All I really need to buy is these two things. And now I have a meal.
Okay.
And buying in bulk too. There's ways to buy in bulk. And again, I love doing meal planning. It's something that I teach. I teach my clients. And so you can always buy in bulk and use those ingredients and distribute them throughout the week, freeze them, pack them away for later. So it's really not as expensive as people think. It's actually more expensive to get those treats and those sweets and grab and go, and going out to eat is actually more expensive if you add it all up.
I agree with you. Yes, like eating out is more expensive than cooking at home or grabbing something fast. It might be fast, but it's expensive. So that adds up. And yeah, like I think that's one of the things that I hear. Oh, it's too expensive. It's too expensive eating healthy. But like you said, if you plan, if you are creative, if you buy in bulk, then you'll be able to plan. Eric says, I'm either investing in my wellness or in my illness. Yes. You're
Love
right.
it, Eric. Yes.
Yes. And thank you for joining us.
Right? Food equals communication.
He's here with us.
Yep, there we go. Food equals communication right there.
Yes. But yeah, he is totally right. You're either investing in your wellness or in your illness. And that's one of my mom's phrases that she uses. Like, I'd rather, invest in my health than having to pay the doctor this money.
Yeah. Or think too, just like that, that woman I was helping now, unfortunately, she has to take care of her mother because her mother didn't take care of herself. And then you're putting that burden on your children, and I don't want that for my kids. I don't want to, when they're trying to live their lives and raise their children and have their families, I don't want it to be a burden at that time in their life. That's supposed to be some of those good years of their life,
Yes. And it's like one of the new concepts I'm learning is that if I think of my future self, let's just say, the 40-year-old version, like, who am I giving to this woman? Like, I'm going to be 40. So okay, what's the finances, physical health, mental health, all of that, like with social life, like what am I giving to this 40-year-old woman? I'm responsible for the 40-year-old version of myself. So it's like, as I'm getting closer, I'm thinking, okay, oh my gosh, I better hurry up and give her the best that I can on this area, these 5 areas of my life. So it's like, if we begin to think, we're passing that baton to the next year. So
yes, life is not ending; it's just beginning. At 40.
Yeah, it's just the beginning. Thank you so much for your beautiful time, for sharing your content, your wisdom. Do you have any last message you would like to share with our beautiful audience today?
You know what? Just give yourself some grace, and those little things and those little choices that you make, just celebrate, give yourself a pat on the back, and continue to move forward.
Yes, thank you, Eric. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. This show can also be heard on Spanglish Radio Network. Please check out SpanglishWorld.ca for all news and programming. Spanglish World, watch it, hear it, read it, download it, and live it. Blessings, and thank you very, very much.
Yeah, thank you.